Today I want to show you how I recorded live drums with only 4 microphones using the UR-RT4 from Steinberg. Hey, what's up everyone? Chris here from MIXDOWN Online. Now, if you've never been here before and this is your first time, click on the subscribe button below and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And for all of you, you know the drill, share and like. All right, so now drum recording with the UR-RT4 from Steinberg. I did the unboxing of that interface maybe a month and a half ago or something. I'm going to leave the link on top if you want to check it out. I actually bought the UR-RT4. I needed something portable that I can carry around with me that has more than 2 preamps. And that was perfect, 4 preamps. I can do a lot with 4 preamps, even recording drums. And this is what I'm going to show you how I did that. Because to be honest with you, 4 preamps, that means only 4 microphones on my live drum kit. This is recording drums with limits, okay, with some limitations. But sometimes it's pretty cool to do so when you have some limitations. You can get creative at some point, and there's some amazing drum recording you can do with only 4 mics. And this is what I want to show you today on top of talking about the UR-RT4. So I guess it's a bit of a review video or something, but it's a blend of both, something useful as far as drum recording goes, and at the same time, you're gonna hear my thoughts on what I think of this interface. Let's first have a look at the interface itself, and then I'm gonna show you what type of drum recording technique I used to be able to record with only 4 microphones. So what we get with the UR-RT4, we have on the far right the output level, and we have the phones level, okay, for your headphones, so you can connect up to 2 sets of headphones, which is quite practical. Then we have the gain for the preamps, and we have the Rupert Neve Design Transformers that we can engage. Now, this is a very cool thing about this interface is that you can choose if you want the Neve transformers engage or not. And this adds more flexibility in the recording stage, so you can test what sounds better depending on what you're recording. Sometimes the Yamaha D-Pres are going to do an amazing job, and sometimes when you add the Neve transformers, this is what's going to work, okay? It depends on what you're recording and the music style you're working on. So very cool option here. Then we have the 4 XLR and line connectors right here. The first 2 channel will support a IZ signal, perfect for guitars, bass. And then we have the peak indicator, which is limited though, okay? So you don't have a full meter directly on the interface. You need to monitor your signal directly with the DSP mix effects. Then we have the 48 volt indicator, which will let you know if you have phantom power on or off. So that's for the front of the interface. Now at the back, if we look at the back of the interface, we have the power button on the far left, and then we have the power connection, and then the USB 2 connector. And this is a very cool thing that it's only USB 2. I know that some of you will probably say, you know what, USB-C is going to be better, and you're probably right, but the fact that this is still a USB 2 connector gives the chance to everyone to use this type of interface. So even if you're using Windows 7 or you have an old computer, you can easily work with this interface by using the USB 2 connector. Then we have the phantom power if you want to switch it on or off. And now you only have 2 switches. Okay, so if you activate the first one, it's going to activate the phantom power on channel 1 and 2, and the second set is going to do the same, but for channel 3 and 4. Now, I would have liked to for the switch to be on the front of the interface, so it is a bit of a drag that you need to reach the back of the interface to activate the phantom power. But on the other hand, if you check on the top here of the interface, everything, all the features that we have in the back of the interface are written right down or listed on the top of the interface. So it's very easy to see what you're doing, even if you don't see physically what's happening in the back. So if I want to engage the phantom power, I just reach out. I know where the phantom power is because it's written right on top. So it's an easy reach. So after working for a couple of weeks with the interface and by having to activate on and off the phantom power, I found myself doing it very fast and easily. So it would be better for it to be on the front of the interface for sure. At least we have something on top that help us to reach the phantom power easily. And then we have MIDI in, MIDI out, and then we have the main output, the line output as well. Output 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So it's a 6-channel interface, but only 4 preamps. But you have an extra 2 line inputs at the back of the interface. Now, the good thing about the UR-RT4 is that it comes with the DSP Mix Effects, which manages your signal within your computer. And this is the GUI that you get with the DSP Mix Effects. So you can do 0 latency recordings with that DSP Mix Effects and even add a reverb without going through your DAW. That can be used with any DAW, okay? So not only Cubase, you can use it with Logic, with Pro Tools, Studio One, Reaper, name it. Now you're gonna get this GUI when working with other DAWs than Cubase. When you're in Cubase, it is gonna be integrated in the software itself. I'm gonna do a separate video on the DSP Mix Effects in the near future, and so I can show you all the features and all different ways you can monitor yourself with or without effects. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about the way I recorded the drums. I only use 4 microphones with those 4 preamps. I'm using the UR-RT4. And the way I decided to record my drums was to use the Glyn Johns technique. And what the Glyn Johns technique is, it's very simple. You have 2 mic for overheads, and I used a match pair of the Mini K47 from Roswell Pro Audio. I'm a big fan of those microphones, and on drum overheads, they sound very, very good. Now, the first overhead microphone is right on top, aiming straight down to the snare drum, and I put it at around 46 inches above the snare. The second overhead mic is on the right side. If you get the drummer's perspective, it's on my right, above the floor tom. Now, on my drum kit setup that I have for this recording, I don't have any toms. It's only a snare, a kick, and 1 cymbal and a hi-hat. That's it. So I have my second overhead microphone on the right side at the same distance as the first microphone to the snare. So that means 46 inches in my case. And that microphone, the second one, is aiming the hi-hat. And then I have 2 other microphones, a close mic for the snare drum, which I use an SM57, and a kick drum microphone, which is the AKG D112 that is inside my kick at around 6 to 7 inches of the skin. So there you go. So it's a very, very simple setup, but it sounds pretty good. Then in my DAW, what I do, I have my kick in the middle, my snare in the middle. I have my right microphone pan at the far right, or if you don't want to use the drummer's perspective, you can pan it at the far left. It's up to you. Then the second microphone, the second overhead, actually the first overhead, the one on top of me above the snare, I actually pan it to, I would say, 50% or so on the left side. Some will actually pan that microphone to the far left, opposed to the second overhead. So this is something you can experiment with if you're using that technique. But I kind of like it when it's at around 50%. So there you go. So this is the way I pan my drums with those 4 microphones. It's a very cool technique. So if you don't have access to a lot of microphones to start with and a lot of preamps on your interface, that is a very good way to do a drum recording. So this is one pretty cool technique you can use. Now let's go and have a quick listen to what that sounds like in Cubase. Okay, now let's have a listen to the drums, the 4 microphone drum recording. And we're first going to listen to the Yamaha D-Pre's. All right, now let's engage the Neve transformers. So I don't know if you heard the difference, but try to focus on the kick drum and the snare especially. Sounds a bit more fat, especially when listening to the kick drum. And you can hear that subtle, saturated character going on with those transformers. So now let's do the same thing with the bass. Okay, now let's engage the Neve transformers. Cool. Now you can hear the kind of saturation going on when we engage the Neve transformers. We can hear it very, very easily on the bass, and I love that sound, to be honest with you. Let's have a listen with both drums and bass playing at the same time. And let's go with the clean preamps first. Okay, let's engage the Neve transformers. In conclusion, I have to say I like this interface a lot, especially for the price. What you get for this price is quite impressive. Those transformers sound very good. And just to make it clear, they are not Neve preamps. They're Rupert Neve transformers. So they are Yamaha D-Pre's preamps. And when you engage the Neve transformers, the signal path goes through those transformers, which gives you that sonic Neve character. Okay, and I'm talking about that subtle distortion vibe that goes on, the brightness, you know, the fatness, the warmth, which is good for certain types of recording. And again, you have the choice to use only the clean and transparent quality of the Yamaha D-Pre's preamps, which sounds pretty good. So I think it's a good buy. I actually bought one myself, not to replace my actual gear, and this is not the goal. It was just to get a good quality interface that I can carry around with me. All right, so this is it for today. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like and share. And again, if you're new here on the channel, subscribe, click that notification bell, and just a quick reminder that my course on Cubase is going to be out in a few days from now. Okay, so if you're new to Cubase or you're confused with Cubase, this is going to be a very cool course for you. So I'm going to keep you guys posted. All right, so I will talk to you soon.